Greetings, YouTube. This is a message to all the men out there that can't get pregnant. Shut up about controlling the bodies of those who can. That's it. That's the entirety of the message. This has nothing to do with you. You are not in this equation. If you cannot carry a fetus to term, you should not have the right to control the bodies of those who can carry a fetus to term. Period. Now, I know that some of the men are going to get outraged and say, well, what about the fact that it's my sperm? I said, well, if you cared about your sperm so much, you wouldn't have deposited so much of it down shower drains. All right? You don't care about your sperm. You just don't. That's just an excuse because you'd want to control the bodies of those people that have a uterus. That's all you want. You want control of other people's bodies. You want control of women's bodies. You want to determine what they can do with their lives. Now, some of the more progressive anti-choicers will say that they'll make excuses for rape or incest. Now, that just shows their hypocrisy. Because the difference between a fetus that results from consensual sex and a fetus that results from rape is zero. There is no difference. Egg, sperm, there you go. There is no biological difference between those. You're saying that there are, under certain social conditions, that sometimes a fetus can be justified in being removed, and sometimes, in their opinion, a fetus can't. So about making that distinction, you're saying it's not about the fetus. It's about the social controls. It's about the social institutions. It's about the context. And of course, the context anti-choicers want is that unless they approve of the pregnancy, unless they approve of what that woman's doing, they should be able to say. If that woman and person in question is that the person with that fetus is married and they're in a nice, stable, heterosexual relationship, and if they're better yet, if they're Christian, the anti-choicers don't care at all. Not in the least. They don't care whether that family lives or dies. They don't care if they have enough money for rent or food or health care. They don't. But if that woman decides that of her own volition, that person with the uterus says, hey, I don't want my uterus being used against my will, and I don't want a fetus here, suddenly the anti-choices are all involved. Suddenly it's really important that fetus sees the light of day. Even though once that fetus sees the light of day, they don't care whether it lives or dies. See the aforementioned comments about food, shelter, and health care. Education. Nothing. If that entire family freezes to death, they're not even going to bat an eye. But by gosh and by golly, want to make sure that fetus hits the world so it can freeze to death. That's really important. This has never been about fetuses. Ever. This is about controlling the bodies of people with the uterus. So men out there, if you can't carry a fetus to term, I don't want to hear from you. If you think a woman shouldn't have an abortion, I don't care. Shut up. Sit down. You don't get to have an opinion about this because it doesn't affect your life. I'm pro-choice. I think everybody with a uterus should get to decide what they do with their uterus. And the United States government has said that up to the 24th week, the person with the uterus should be able to do anything they goddamn well want to with their uterus. And that's what we should be doing. And after the 24th week, if there is sufficient need because of the health of the person with the uterus or the non-viability of the fetus, that fetus can still be removed. And that's the right and proper thing. Now, some of the folks that are going to see this are going to tell me that they're, Old Testament folks. Okay, now, remember, the Old Testament, well, the ancient Jewish folks said that it wasn't considered a human being until it drew it for its breath. So don't go be evoking the ancient Jewish traditions to defend your position, because they got nothing to help you. Because until that fetus draws a breath, they didn't even count it as a person. So they're not going to help you. So don't do the Old Testament thing on me. Not going to work. Come out, be honest. You just want to control women's lives. You just want to control the lives of anybody that has a uterus. You just hate the idea of someone having bodily autonomy or agency. So, again, to all the men out there who can't carry a fetus, shut up, sit down, and let the adults take care of this.